Nothing that offensive in that video. Just a bunch of teens partying in the street. Not a problem. Nobody got hurt. Everything was fine. It happened in the Lakeview neighborhood of Chicago after our Pride parade. But of course, because it was mostly black teenagers out in the streets, local news had to turn it into a violent takeover of the city streets. Now, the framing and headlines speak for themselves. Let's start with WGN TV News and what they tweeted out. Hundreds of teens take over Lakeview, destroying neighborhood. Destroying the neighborhood. And here's some more from Chicago local news. Terrifying. Hundreds of teens take over Lakeview, damage property. Now, the only thing that they're talking about that was damaged property was a dent in the hood of a car that they were dancing on top of. Now, I don't suggest that people go and step on top of vehicles that they don't own. But with that said, I don't see these headlines saying horrifying takeover of city property damage every time there's a car accident or anything like that. Now, one Chicago alderman responded with strategies to think up in the future, to keep the youth from celebrating anything in the future. Now, Alderman Bennett Lawson, 44th Ward, helped with the cleanup Tuesday morning and released a statement saying, I'll be meeting with the 19th District Police, CTA, and others to discuss what took place and identify ways we can prevent it from occurring moving forward, as well as continue conversations with my colleagues on city council and how we can keep our youth from participating in these disruptive actions. Well, I can actually quite easily tell you how you can stop this disruptive behavior, and that's to actually have programs for our youth in the city and things for them to do. But that being said, there's no cleanup. It's a ridiculous idea that there was any cleanup from this. The neighborhood isn't destroyed. I can promise you that. I've seen it with my own eyes. Everything is fine. But there was literally people calling for the police to go in there and shoot these kids. And I mean, I've seen a woman throw up in the middle of the street, pull her pants down and pee, and then punch a cop in this neighborhood because the Cubs won or they lost. I saw a man pick up a garbage can and throw it through a car windshield after a Cubs game. But because those are white people and they're paying to go to Wrigley Field, it's fine. That's not a hostile takeover.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you went there because you and I have to acknowledge what these kids did wrong, being they're not white kids who are celebrating their favorite professional team or college team either winning or losing. Had that been the case, this would be a non-issue. It would just be, look at them having fun. Look at them celebrating a win or a loss. But I mean, I don't know, are people jealous that they can't twerk on top of a Toyota? Maybe you should practice a little bit more. Not condoning getting on someone else's car, but if you have your own car, practice on your own property. That's all I'm saying.
Right, and I said something to that effect, and I had a bunch of people replying like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna bring these kids to in front of your house next time and see how you react." And like, "Oh no, people dancing. Whatever will I do?" I mean, it is ridiculous and it's thoroughly racist. I'm glad we got to cover these stories together.